went to a fun party. That was fun because I got to play Evil Within. The party itself was okay. They had a couple actors doing some fun little things.
Yeah, if I were there, I would be so antisocial. I'd be like, screw this, I'm playing Evil Within.
But I actually went for the horror event. I thought there's right under Seattle is this awesome underground area. Paris is a very similar thing where at some point they just like gave up and they're like, let's just build a new city. And there was the remnants of this old city.
Catacombs.
Yeah, and they actually had a woman like blocking the actual gate to it. And like everyone went straight to her like, let's do it. And she's like, no, it's the event is over here. So the event was actually kind of small, but while everyone was, throwing back heavy drinks and, eating cheese crackers, I saw a perfect opportunity to sit down, play a 20-minute uninterrupted session of Evil Within. Tough game to demo. A lot of puzzles. Frustrating to get stuck in a puzzle that I was in chapter 9. I don't know how long the chapters are, but like there are mechanics that are at play here that I'm sure I learned in chapter 4. So they just kind of throw you into it. So it's potentially a little bit frustrating. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I really want to get past this point, and the game's making me stuck.
I definitely want to bring that up, that it's hard to demo. It's just a very hard game to show because it relies so heavily on sucking you into this scary, horrifying world and then scaring the crap out of you.
Yeah.
And just showing a slice of that and just showing a scare in a trailer doesn't translate as well as actually being,
So we have yet to do one of these report-style thingamajobs on Evil Within. So I thought it was an interesting game to talk about post-PAX because I got to spend a little bit more time with it. And my expectations of the full game went up, actually. I really enjoyed the time that I spent. Love RE4. Don't necessarily love the plot. I think some of the characters are like way out there. When people talk about it being like best game of all time caliber, I'm like, there are some really ridiculous things going on in RE4 that really keep it from me being like, this is the game. But man, I will play that game anytime, any place. Just the gameplay is really great. Navigating that environment, love horror, love gothic stuff. The way the game looked actually, and obviously a lot of these games are in flux as we're getting a chance to look at them, but kind of had a graininess to it that I wasn't a big fan of. Kind of put me off a little bit from really considering the world I was in as a real place. I was more focused on like staying alive, finding ammo. God, there's definitely, I don't know if that's something that'll change in the final release, but like not a lot of ammo to be found in that game.
Yes.
Shooting something in the head doesn't do it, with the pistol. I don't know if, obviously you can level up weapons and get stronger as you move on. The sound is really great. The enemy design I really like because it reminds me of RE4 in that these things aren't crazy Silent Hill, multiple armed beasts. There's a lot of that happening. Like there's definitely monsters and nightmare visions that you face. But this guy that shows up, everything turns blue, kind of like the original RE4. Actually, now that I think about it, the pre-RE4 that we got with Leon and the Hook guy. You get these scenarios where it's like, this guy's hunting you and following you, so you just want to try to get away from him. It's just a guy in a hoodie. He's like not that creepy looking. You get close to him and he's got some,
he never really
gooey things going on.
The safe head character looks a lot more intimidating and badass than.
But he still has this kind of Michael Myers-esque permanence to him that like he's coming. So it's like, and the map was big enough that I easily got away from him, but it's still kind of creepy to have his presence there. Him constantly be hunting you.
I got to play at E3, so it was a couple months ago, and I enjoyed that when he did show up. You have to run because you shoot at him and it doesn't do anything. He actually got a hold of me and took off 4/5 of my life bar. So he may not be that intimidating visually, but I like that it translates to, wow, if this guy catches me, he's really gonna F me up. So.
And one of the things that does play well in the demo is who the hell is this guy? What's happening here? Why is he hunting me? Why doesn't he just straight up find me and kill me? Why is he like giving me even a chance to get away?
Yeah. Was your demo outside and then you go into a mansion type location?
It was when I picked up the controller, it was inside. So they might have been. Was it might have started outside?
The probe into the brain puzzle.
Okay,
so I think we played the same part.
I couldn't figure that out, and it was also tough because you had to listen to cues from recordings while you were trying to like do experiments on the brain. And for people that if we don't have like direct footage of that exact thing, there's a slice of a human head on a table, and there's multiple stages of this, and then it'll say these are the different parts of the brain that react to these different types of emotions. You'll have a drill that you can focus on different parts of the brain, and then you're listening to an audio recording, Evil Dead style, of this guy doing an experiment, and you kind of have to put all the pieces together to determine like where you need to drill. Did you figure it out? Did you actually make it work?
I think I got lucky. I just plopped it in the brain. That was it.
And if you miss, it takes away your health.
Yeah.
If you screw it up, what happened? You just got an item? Or?
Yeah, the blood sucked through and it went to a door. So you had to do multiple lobotomies or whatever, and then this door would open up. So.
And I mean, you look back at Resident Evil, and it's like, okay, we made this thing called the T virus, and then that made all these crazy things happen. End of story. So it's kind of nice getting a little more scientific and realizing that, like, this thing actually did horrible things to real people. Again, why I loved RE4, like the end credits where you see this like peaceful, wonderful town, and then all these people, just went bad. And again, you're seeing them in the village, and they're not. As much as I love Silent Hill, and as much as I like. Weird, creepy things. What am I looking at? Trying to like process it as far as like adding on to the fear. It's really uncomfortable walking into a room and you see a curtain and you can see someone's feet at the bottom and this woman wanders out and she just looks like a woman who's had a bad week. Like she doesn't. There's not something immediately supernatural about her. It's a normal human being that's a little bit off. And that digs a little deeper for me, especially with these new consoles and upping the resolution a little bit and having the sounds that they emit don't be totally out there and far-fetched and like really trying to be super creepy. It just seemed like very subtle. The paintings on the walls were very unsettling.
Love those.
One of the first things I remember that you told me about the game was the healing method that I don't know if it like attracts enemies or something. I saw one demo where the guy jabbed himself and everything freaked out and someone immediately like rushed in the room and started attacking him. So definitely a big play on perception and going crazy, which seems like something easy to add to a horror game, but I like that it's the focus of this.
It's just so visceral. It's so in your face. I know that's a hard thing to comprehend, but just from what I played, everything was very the enemies would come and just attack you and you really feel the weight and like the healing item, you do it, everything just starts going. It's a very visceral experience.
Instead of a score, if you're going to review this, can we just put that up? It's literally just a picture of you.
Yeah, just like everything is just barreling down on you.
One example of something I didn't like that, again, I was anticipating, so I was like totally ready to shoot the little light bulb, but the one bit where they grab you by the foot and pull you in, these little traps.
I totally died on that.
Totally got wasted. And then like now that I'm playing now, I knew it was coming, and so I'm like getting ready to aim. But at the same time, like I noticed some random enemy placement. I was watching somebody else play and they walked into a room and there was a bad guy there. I played through, wasn't. And so I think there's a little bit of randomness as where they place random enemies. Sometimes you'll see like a body on the ground. Sometimes it'll react to you, sometimes it won't. So yeah, definitely that kind of precaution going through levels. And in a matter of 20 minutes, was able to figure out where the items were, what I needed. I found 2 little safe dials, and I was like, oh God, there's some code somewhere I have to find. And like, I just needed to plop them in, and I got in. When I actually popped open the safe, not to like spoil it in the final game, but like blood came rushing out. So like there's a lot of, Dead Space does that a lot, where they plan scares around the tools that you have to use. So you're kind of pensive when you're always like, flicking a switch or like turning something on.
And I love that they're having fun with it too. Did you use the arrows? You get the crossbow with all these different types of arrows. There's the nightmare arrow.
They're harpoons, aren't they?
Yeah. So there's this nightmare arrow that is apparently, they kept stressing that it's the most valuable weapon in the game and that it's the strongest weapon in the game, but extremely rare. So you only use it like worst case scenario, life is on the line, use that thing.
Can I call it the Nightmare Arrow for short?
The Nightmare O?
Yeah, Nightmare Arrow. You just put the words together. What does it do?
It was this like vortex. So
just damage.
Just a bunch of damage and messed everyone up.
So yeah, obviously inventory is key. The more I dug into the game, the more I could actually find the shotgun ammo and pistol ammo, but it's not immediately apparent. And there's fun ways that you can skill up and obviously level up like you have been. Hopefully there's New Game Plus. That was like one of the crippling things about RE4 when I finished it. Was like, oh God, I have to play this game again, kind of like Last of Us.
Did you ever get a Last of Us vibe at all while playing?
No, already straight up. I mean, this is definitely kind of maturing the concept of Resident Evil, which is why, again, I hope we don't get these long diatribes from the villain or weird Napoleon little people. There was a lot of stuff that I felt very comical about RE4. Some of it worked the right way, some of it didn't. But
yeah, it's great that it's Shinji Mikami returning to survival horror, and that he doesn't have his hands tied with existing lore. So he can just kind of, a lot more freedom with going forward with the story and the plot and where the game goes.
So yeah, I'm not gonna freak out Huber style yet. I know. Once a game immediately gets in your hype pile, like there's no turning back.
I have so much invested in this game. I'm still kind of cautiously optimistic. You know, I don't want to be burnt.
And there is a chance that being just around the aesthetic of the Evil Within from this awesome party that I and May threw together, it possibly could have influenced my emotions. That I was like maybe a little bit more absorbed than I would be at home. But putting the headphones on and getting through it, it was creepy, and my stock in the game went up. So I'm definitely curious to check it out. And you will be reviewing this, of course. Yes. So just be realistic.
Definitely.
Just, you know,
I'm
put the hype on the shelf and jump in.
Of course.
But yeah, curious to see more. Can't wait for you to get your hands on it.
Thanks.